Hello everyone, September the 18th, and I want to really show you here why these coming months are so super important and so historic in many ways. So it's about really Neptune's second discovery, you could say. Neptune will be nailed down, will be uncovered, uncloaked, and Neptune is the planet which, as I laid out in my last video, is the planet of greatest interest in our present time, as it is that energy of deception and of confusion, of gullibility, and all that manufactured empire of lies, which is, as we speak, in the middle of that process of coming down. This is a multi-month process naturally, and it started definitely this year to get into a high gear with all what is coming out, with people are realizing what they have been duped with. So let's go back here to Neptune's discovery chart for a moment, because the discovery chart of a planet is super important. It is how the planet wants to be received. It is the planet's birth chart, if you want. It is the moment that energy decides, now it's time to come and show myself and become a visible force in this universe. And as I showed you in my last video, and I certainly recommend you go and listen to it. There's many little jewels in it. One of them is the discovery chart, and actually the missed discovery of Neptune in the year 1609 by Galileo Galilei nonetheless. Anyway, finally in 1846 the energies were right. Saturn detained Neptune, literally Saturn coming and pulling off that cloak of invisibility and nailing the guy down, really arresting him literally. And there's a funny story there which I didn't tell you yet. So it was Johann Galle, the astronomer, who is credited in Berlin 1846 to have discovered Neptune. However, it was his assistant Dare who was the one really discovering, and naturally the credit goes to the boss. But the little wonderful little sweet added detail is that this gentleman's name, he was French, his last name was Dare, D''A''R''E''T, and on the E you have an accent circumflex, which is the same word as in English arrest. So you see it on multiple levels. Neptune had to really be arrested to become a tangible force in this universe. Now this is a fabulous discovery chart. Neptune has so many layers of wonderful energies beside or aside from all that which we are just now working through to get all cleared out, all that illusion and deception and marriage energy, phantom morgana, and whatever you call it. So first of all, here we have the 19th degree of Taurus, which, as I shown you in one of my latest recordings, the degree, the oracle for this degree of the rising degree of Neptune's chart is a new continent rising out of the ocean. And this degree has been supercharged now by Uranus station on August the 24th. So we're in the middle of this process of shaking this Neptunian energy alive. And then there is the exact square of Saturn. Now Uranus and Saturn had been in square aspect 3 times exact in the year 2021. This year they do not make an exact square anymore, but their 2 stations, the one where Uranus reached the yearly maximum before turning backward, and the one of Saturn reaching the bottom of the valley on October the 22nd, 1835. You see there's actually Saturn will cross that exact square point twice. It will be between October the 2nd and November the 11th. It will be in this phase of the square adding on to 90 degrees and then back to 90 degrees. So this is a super important time frame, early October starting till November the 11th. And naturally this is just the initial phase. Saturn, again the one which crystallizes that Neptunian energy, makes it visible what it is really about. And you see, on top of that, Neptune had its yearly maximum on June the 4th at, I didn't mark the degree here, yes, 2515. You see a perfect Saturn return that was for the Neptune discovery chart. So this is a monumental year for Neptunian energy to become redefined in a new way. By the way, the Sabian symbol for that 19th degree of Aquarius, I want to read that to you because it's really, again, super interesting. A forest fire is being subdued by the use of water, chemicals, and sheer muscular energy. The keynote Rudyard gives here is the skill and courage necessary to bring under control the destructive potential of carelessness, of karmic visitations. How about that? All the deceptions which have been piled up on humanity, and it is the comment here even makes it more clear. Forest fires may be caused by human carelessness. Yes, this is the situation we're in, by lightning or by byproducts of modern technology. Every individual, at least once in his lifetime, if not repeatedly, maybe perhaps have to face spectacular reactions to seemingly insignificant acts. These are to be considered means to test his strength, ingenuity, or emotional stability. Every faculty at his disposal must be made use of: emotional, mental, physical. Now this speaks to the humanity as a whole. We need to have faith in ourselves and in superior powers to battle successfully those forest fires. So this gives you the framework of what we are going to be experiencing. It will be a call for humanity to stand together and yes, literally extinguish this forest fire which has been ignited by this misconception of Neptunian energies. Interesting, in the discovery chart I highlighted this is also this opposition of Mercury and Haumea. Haumea is a creative energy, giving birth, creating by fire, and in Pisces it shows the high creative potential of imagination and of appearances out of nowhere. That's kind of the thing Neptune is good at, to fabricate all these perceptions. And the 18th or 19th degree there of Virgo, let me read that one too. I think I have marked it here. Or not, just give me one sec. because it is again a really interesting one. Here we go. It's the swimming race. I guess I mentioned that in the last recording already, which is the stimulation that comes from a group effort toward a spiritual goal. So it is also showing in tandem with that 0 degree Libra sun, which I really stressed last recording too, is that collectivization of coming together and working together. The same is true about the degree up here at the 10th house cusp, the consciousness axis, which is a relay race, the value of competition in developing group consciousness. So it's all about coming together, working together. This is the underlying note of Neptune, of giving us this very deep experience that we are connected at all times, that boundaries are illusory, that there is something which is invisible, which is connecting us all and linking us all together. So there is this perfect mystic rectangle, and then there's Juno here and Hygeia. Now I did go back to a little bit into history. I wanted to show you the accuracy of this chart here, and I went to back to summer 1989, sorry, when Voyager 2 was the first spacecraft to visit Neptune, had its very close flyby on the 25th of August in 1989, and I did the secondary progressions of that day for the Neptune discovery chart. And the secondary progressions, actually, for those new to that concept, is a very basic key all astrologers use. It's one time the Earth is rotating around itself after birth, counting for 1 year in the person's or whatever this event's life, which would be Neptune's life, Neptune having been discovered so many years prior, which would be so many days. So anyway, this is the secondary progressions of that day, and interesting is that we have that 18th degree of Virgo here rising, and again, if we go back, you see this is where Mercury is in the natal chart of Neptune in that way. Also, this is another really exact hit, even more so, Mercury by progression 2206 Aquarius here, and if we go to the birth chart 2206 Gemini, we have Arrokoth, or 05 or 06. Anyway, it's very, very close. And Arrokoth is also conjunct the part of fortune. Now, Arrokoth, as I understand, is that all at once vision of understanding the bigger picture, of seeing all the pieces of the puzzle coming in line with one another. It is that kind of moment when you see it all at once, and everything starts making sense. So Arrokoth right now, this is yet another indication by transit is at 20 degrees and something Capricorn. So Uranus here at the ascendant, hovering over that degree, and Arrokoth here at the 10th house cusp. And let me go now to this chart here. Here you have it. That is Mercury's moment of turning retrograde. We are in the middle of that retrograde period right now. So it's a super important phase between September the 10th and October the 2nd. Mercury in retreat. It is always when Mercury is going backwards, as all planets, the basic premise is it's going back over the books, rethinking what has happened, tying up loose ends, going back and re-evaluating what we have been believing and thinking of. Interesting here is naturally that Uranus and the North Node, the lunar North Node, are exactly at midheaven. So this in itself shows this is a time of reorientation, of seeing things in a new way. The 27-degree Aquarius and Leo axis is also critical in the Neptune discovery chart. You see 2651 here is the dark moon, the black moon, which is the shadow point in Leo, and that is exactly, well, within half a degree what is rising here. So it is also in this chart clearly visible that it is about honing and focusing in on the dark side of Neptune and its shadow. And the stationary chart is most important naturally for that 4-week period when Mercury moves backwards, but in a bigger way it's also for the whole next 4 months, as it's the degree where it has changed directions. Then on the 23rd of September, Mercury will be exactly between Sun and Earth. This is Earth. This is Mercury. Here you have to think is between the two and the Sun. So this is the beginning of a new synodic cycle. And 014, and again look at Neptune's discovery chart, 019, again another level of resonance. Also Mars here at 2550 in the Neptune discovery chart, and Mars here in not Mars but Neptune is here at 24, exactly opposing its natal Mars. Then well, I could say many more things. Interesting is that in this Greenwich chart, when Mercury, Sun and Earth are exactly lined up, the 10th, 11th degree of Libra here rising, that is where Mercury turned direct and retrograde very close to this degree. And then on the 2nd of October, when Mercury turns direct, again we have a powerful degree. That is where Neptune was when it was discovered. You see there's all kinds of resonances here, 25 degree and 53 minutes here in Aquarius, in that narrow conjunction with Saturn. If we go back 2508, 2553, you see 2539. So yes, Neptune is really the theme of the present time. And also Mercury here again, 24, that is where Mercury reaches the bottom of the valley, so to say. And as you see, this is again on Mars, perfectly on the natal Mars of Neptune's discovery chart, and opposing Neptune, by the way. The beautiful thing of this chart of Mercury turning direct is the 0 or 1st degree Capricorn moon. Means there's a very Saturnian discipline which is coming with how we are thinking, how we are perceiving things, which is again very Saturnian. So Saturn is definitely the planet to look for, and you see here it is at 1856 here on October the 2nd, still moving backwards towards that exact square point 1824, 1835. You see that's where it will station. So I have a few more charts here I wanted to show you, which kind of illustrate. So actually on the 3rd of October, just one day after Mercury turns direct, Saturn is perfectly squaring Uranus station. And again, what you're seeing here is the 20th degree of Virgo. Remember, this is where Neptune's Mercury is, 1852. And Mars in a pretty exact T-square here with the horizon axis. So Mars and Mercury together, that is very active mental energy of argument, of, you could call it a fight with words, with a confrontation with words. And Mars, particularly in Gemini, will turn retrograde a couple weeks then later. And as I did say already in my kind of long-term preview, you have to go back to it. Mars in Gemini gives you lots of exact dates when things are reaching a climax point, and how this will work itself out expectedly. So anyway, this is another powerful chart, and as if things were not enough yet, hinting at some big moves. The 16th degree of Gemini, look at that, where what is here in Neptune's chart here is Jupiter. Expansion. So then there is the moon here, 12 degrees in Capricorn. And again, I think this is the moment when Saturn locks in with that Uranus station of August the 24th. So really activating this energy of I would say Saturn Uranus is it's the old and the new, and the collision they have. A 90-degree angle always is a sort of a collision. It's like on a four-way intersection, two cars driving at the same time. That's kind of the worst case scenario naturally, but it is confrontation, and it comes out of the left field as it is. You don't really see it coming if you're not particularly looking in that direction. Then on the 23rd of October, Saturn turns direct. That is then that moment, and again we have Mars now pretty much exactly T-squaring Neptune. Actually, if you look again at the degree 2513 here, and the station Neptune made on June 28th was 2527. Actually, I wanted to mention this 2527 is exactly between its natal position and the planet Pluto here. So Pluto, Saturn and Neptune in the middle. Again, this is even more so an energy to bring clarity into what Neptune truly is about. Pluto is a very collective force of multiplication. Pluto has been related to the mass media. As we know, Pluto was discovered in 1930, and that was pretty much the birth of radio and then later television, of all these mass media and print capacities of multiplying information. And so Saturn here again coming in as almost as a police agent to scan through what is true and what is not, and it can be a pretty harsh energy. So Neptune is going through that upgrade, and naturally has to be many things have to be cleaned out here. That's part of that Saturnian energy, that very targeted X-ray diagnose of what's real and what's not, you could say. Interesting too that again we have here a cardinal moon, 0 or first degree to second degree Libra. And if we go back again, I want you to look at this degree that is close to Neptune's discovery sun, and then this 3 degree Cancer mark is Neptune's third house cusp, which is about again the perception of this energy in particular being in the limelight. So this is really super exciting, as I guess it is obvious to anyone here that once Neptune has been upgraded and brought into a clear space, and when its lower frequency bands have been cleared out and deleted at best, because that is where we are going collectively. We are deleting the lower frequency bands, and Neptune is, in that sense, probably the one planet with the greatest dark side, which has to be cleared out and transformed and transcended into a clear and transparent state. So again, this shows a new beginning in many ways with that cardinal cross here, October the 23rd, when Saturn will start turning direct, when Saturn has reached that place which we talked about before of extinguishing the forest fires, when suddenly it definitely is some sort of a sudden thing for humanity at once to wake up to that degree that we start closing shoulders and are being the fireman to deal with that firestorm, with that forest fire of deception and deceit. So just a couple more charts here. 2 days later we have a solar partial eclipse. Again, eclipses are naturally the most important events of the year. And Mercury up high here, 22 degrees in Libra, right at the midheaven. And again, 2044 Libra here. Now look at Neptune's chart. 2019 Capricorn, so in a perfect T-square. That makes me just think I forgot sharing something which I had already here. Okay, it was already mentioned, and the secondary progressions of that moment when Voyager the second had its closest flyby to Neptune, the one and only close flyby any spacecraft so far has had. And I wanted to point out the importance of the nodal axis. You see, that was the degree of the secondary progressed North Node 2023. And again, if you go back to the Discovery chart, this was a perfect T-square here. This shows you how powerful these T-square points are to the consciousness axis. That was the day, the moment when Neptune was fully recognized, understood in a way it hasn't been before in over 150 years. So let me go back to where I just was. We were speaking of, again, that axis, the partial solar eclipse of October the 25th, which powerfully activates Neptune's discovery chart again on this level. And on top of it, you see there's the black moon at 21 degree 35 at the time. And if we look at Neptune's chart, so the black moon is here at the baseline, at the source point of the discovery chart, together with Pallas, the asteroid, which is all about understanding the patterns and putting the different facts into order and seeing the essence of kind of being able to distill the essence out of a lot of different fractals of information. So Neptune's unmasking, that's what we will see in the next few months, and this will really be the only thing which is still missing to get this liberation of planet Earth fully underway. Right now, many people are still sitting on the fence. Yes, I think there's a majority by now who is awake, who has started to see through how deceived we get by the media and by our governments and all the official agencies who are teaming up against us. There is a great awakening. Many people are still speechless and unable to really fully wrap their mind around what they're seeing, but this is a progression we are in. This has been started, as I showed you, with what we have seen, the activation of Neptune's chart in the last few months, and this is gearing up and really gaining momentum. This is just another chart I wanted to show you. That is now the secondary progressions of Neptune's discovery chart for that day, the 25th of October. I found this pretty interesting. Again, progressed Uranus 13 degrees 14 minutes, progressed 7th house cusp 13 degrees 17 minutes, so that was exact, most exact, just a few weeks prior. So this also, Mercury here had a close conjunction. Now this brings me back to something else which I wanted to show you. In 2020, it was, that actually was published on December 16th, 2020. Dark storm on Neptune reverses direction. So in 2018, or let me just go back a little more, in 1989, when Voyager had its first flyby, there were 2 storm systems on Neptune. Then from then on, actually, Neptune has been observed once in a while, and with Hubble we were able to see storm systems, and on and off once in a while there are storms similar to the big red spot on Jupiter, big systems. And this was the first time since 1989 that 2 storm systems again were observed. Here they are. This was the main dark spot. That is the picture from 2019 or 2020. So as you see, the storm system is 4,600 miles in diameter. So anyway, I just wanted to show you one thing here. When Neptune here in the secondary progressions, let's do this. So in late 2018, let's put October 1st, I guess it was September, so 2018, that first storm system was discovered. And I'm just showing you here the progressed moon moves about 1 degree per month. And then in 2019 it was discovered that this storm had mutated and now become 2 storms. And then in okay, come on, okay, in December 2020 you see there was a progressed new moon here for Neptune's discovery chart, and that is when all of a sudden 2 storms were discovered. And I also want to make you aware that this is the degree where Neptune is at present, in the 25th, 26th degree. That's where it's stationed, you see, in Pisces here. And that is the degree of its progress new moon. So there's many ways you can see that. And the Mercury Uranus conjunction, there's something which is stirring things up even on the planet itself. I had that vision that with 2 storms, Neptune has now 2 eyes, is able to obtain stereo vision. Stereo meaning seeing the depth and seeing through deceptions, through the layers which are illusory, and able to focus in on what truly is there as essence in the background of it. So there's no update, as naturally Hubble has to, and now it probably would be Spitzer, focusing in on Neptune and taking pictures if the 2 storms are still in progress. I strongly am expecting that to be the case, so I'm eagerly looking forward to get updates from Neptune's surface. So right now we are August, September, so this is where the progress moon is now, and you see as we get into October, November 1st, the progress moon, which is the one planet which moves the fastest, as I said, about a degree a month, is conjunct Pluto. That's a very monumental point. You see again 25 here 25, 23 natally in Aries. That's where Pluto is, and the moon 25, 39. So pretty much around the time of that Saturn station, the moon is on natal Pluto. So, and Uranus at the 7th house cusp. So you can't really overlook something monumental is going on with Neptune's energy, Neptune's perception. Let me just finish with what I still have here. Okay, this is an overlay inside the natal chart of Neptune, outside the secondary progressions for October the 25th. And so yes, here you see it again, 25, 22 is where the moon is by progression, 25, 23 is Pluto. And yes, I mean, there's, yeah, let me just keep going here into the next chart to keep it not too expansive, this recording again. I'm always a little bit worried that if it's too long, you guys won't really have the time to watch the whole thing. Anyway, this was September the 6th, and only in retrospect I saw this is exactly the same axis as the Uranus discovery chart, Neptune discovery chart. This was when Hygeia and Uranus had their 3rd opposition, and this is very much related to health and our waking up to how we have been deceived on that in that particular subject over the last years. we had 3 exact oppositions this year of Hygeia, which is about health, well-being, and Uranus, naturally the awakener, who is just taking us by our necks and say, hey, it's time to get real, to look at what is truly happening on this planet. It is a very physical energy. Many people have expected big earthquakes. I guess it is an earthquake which we are experiencing with Uranus in Taurus for the whole 7-year period. Is shaking us to awake to reality. That's what it really feels like. And last but not least, this is then the total lunar eclipse of November the 8th, and the 5th degree of Scorpio is here at midheaven, and I want to leave you with this. This is where the moon is in Neptune's discovery chart. All about Neptune's awakening and its upgrade into a more clear and real space, kind of shedding all its layers of lower frequencies. That's what we are seeing. That is a wonderful time in history we are going through. Thank you for joining again and listening, and talk to you soon. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, or even share. Thank you. And thank you to all my Patreon donors. This helps me a lot. This keeps me on track. Tells me that yes, people are enjoying what I'm doing, and it motivates me naturally to do even more of it. So thank you, and talk to you soon.